Hi, and welcome to Sixcess Stories. We are your hosts, Christina Gent,
and Eric Ozarowski.
and this is where we share real conversations with the 6 Degrees community all about life, leadership, and the power of meaningful connections. John Griswold is back to join us in the hot seat. John is a fellow thespian. He loves getting to the beach for some volleyball, and he's a master of a good thank you card. The Griswold Group is a family-run real estate group where he gets to work with his father and his sister.
Yeah, in this episode with John, we touch a little bit on how he's restructured his family business over the last couple of years and how that restructuring has led to him being way more effective in his role and how he's navigated that. We get into some of the systems that he has for proactive communication, both with his clients and his team, and his philosophy of treating his team the same way that he treats his clients and putting them first in a lot of ways. We talk a little bit about FU money and each of our ideas around what that level of success and wealth looks like. And finally talk about parenting styles and the social sensitivities that he's had to navigate and learn to navigate with having some kids that have been homeschooled.
I think I had the most fun talking about the FU money, so thank you, John, for bringing that up and just being able to explore, have some fun with what that would look like. So please enjoy this episode of Sixcess Stories.
How's your day?
Good. It's been good. I got my marketing done for every other week. I do like a marketing thing, and
I know, I get them. I enjoy them.
Gotten super consistent with it this year. I'm
That's
like
awesome.
really happy about it. So I'm going on vacation on Friday, and I was like, got to get it done. And there's no way I would have done it without this system, because it's like I would have found an excuse. It's like, I'm going on vacation in 2 days. I don't have time to go film right now, but it's gotten so easy, and my cam shows up, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? Like cancel? Like
he's here.
Supposed to show him. I'm trying to inculcate work ethic to this kid. Last thing, if I don't show up, then he's like, okay.
That's smart. I was just the accountability piece on that is like having someone come and do the thing, set it up.
Yeah, for me, like the social judgment is such a motivator for me. If somebody else is like, we're gonna do this tomorrow, right? I will show up. But if someone's like, you should work out every morning, it's never going to happen.
I'm the same way.
Unless someone's like, see you tomorrow, and then I'll be there at 5:30 or some stupid hour, because if I'm not, then...
It's so much easier for me to hold myself accountable if I commit to someone else, but I don't hold myself accountable in the same way for
to
myself.
my own self, yeah.
It's not, but you do that with volleyball, though. But is it because of the social aspect of volleyball?
Yeah, but no, it's because literally I'll get a text at 5:45, like, where are you? Or whatever, or 6 o'clock in the morning, and so, and I love it,
Right.
But yeah, I love volleyball, but if a coach was like, you need to show up, on your off days all by yourself at the beach and practice jumping, I've never sustained that unless there was my partner would come with me or something. I'm just not driven that way. Where my sister is, she'll just like go do it.
Well, so many athletes have coaches, right? And there's a reason they need someone to push them and be like, hey, no, we gotta do the thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And I think that's why coaching is worth the investment. I think it's like, it's a little cultish, and like, when you're on the other side of it, looking at the investment and the thing, you're like, I don't need that. And they can afford a coach because they're so successful, and they don't realize that like the success oftentimes came because of the coaching, and
especially business specifically, right? But
especially
the hard part is finding the right coach.
Yep.
Like they're dime a dozen, right? There's a million people out there, and so finding the right person that can help in the right way.
Right. And it's like same as like trying to get the right financial advisor, the right CPA. Like you go through sometimes as you try to like build your team around you to like help you level up. And there are coaches that are absolutely like not for you. They're not in it for the right reasons, and they're just trying to get you to buy their book, and that's the end of the value or whatever, know. And then there's ones that are in it for the right reasons and have the right personality for what you're looking for.
So many people get, like, especially coaching is like, well, this is what worked for me, and then I go sell that.
Right.
And only that. And it's like, it's not that cookie cutter. It's like, that's great. And it changed your life, and I believe that, but there's a little bit more to it than those are the good ones that figure that part out.
And it doesn't work for everyone. It's sort of like, I want to be a good singer, but if you were born tone deaf, no amount of singing training is going to get you better at singing, or it can be very, very challenging. And I think there are certain people that just come into this world not very coachable for whatever reason. And for those people, it's like, you might have to start with a therapist first and then figure out how to become coachable and then hire a coach, because there are people that you'll come across that are just, it would be a waste of money for them, because they're not going to be able to like hear what someone says to do and then actually do it for whatever reason. There's something in the way of them being coachable, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's crazy that it's been a year since the last time we sat down in
almost
this room together.
Almost to the day, or like to the month or something.
Yeah, I think it's to the month. I'm pretty sure it's to the month.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Doesn't feel right, but it sounds right.
I know, it feels crazy. So what's been really fascinating to hear from people that we've now had on for round 2 is just what has happened in this past year, right? And it has been different for the people that we've had in here so far, which has just been really fun and fascinating to hear. So I'm just curious, the last time that you were here, I remember something that really stuck with me was you talking about, it took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to get to the place where it's like, oh, we're good in a sense. Like a year ago, you talked about how that previous year you were even thinking about, should I drive for Uber or Lyft? Like, should I pick up some extra things? Like, should I go down these, right? And so I think it's such a relatable place that so many business owners, entrepreneurs go through. And so then when you said you sat there in that chair and you were like, yeah, it took me 10 years. And Eric and I looked at each other like, well, shit. I was like, so we have that many more years to get through. So from last year to now, where are you at? What's shifted? What's changed? I
think the big shift is that I finally feel like the family reposition project is complete. I'm no longer spending any like mental capital about like, how do I position my family team to be the most successful, and like, how do I get my other like non-family team members to like thrive. I feel like I've got, in this moment, everything super dialed, which means that it's about to fall apart again, because that's life. But I'm enjoying that I've got everything super dialed, and it's sort of like when you have, like, I have 3 kids, like as soon as you get everybody like happy, something will shift and you have to readjust. But right now I'm just really thankful that I've got my dad exactly where he needs to be in the business and he's happy, and I've got my sister in her stuff and happy, and then the 3 team members I have, everybody is thriving right now, and that's allowing me to then just focus on what I need to do to bring in business and like build my business in different areas. And so it's a very freeing place right now, especially in a market that's not easy, to not have that additional albatross around my neck of, oh my gosh, there's internal issues. I don't have that on my neck right now. And so it feels good to be able to just really work on growth, and we're on track to have a really good year. So
how long have you been in this operating on all cylinders season?
Pretty much the whole year.
Yeah, all year.
We really started in January, and I just suddenly was like, oh wow, everything's working.
It's all going. It's all going according to plan.
You know, I was telling my business coach, I was like, we don't have to talk about this anymore. Isn't this great? And he was like, finally. And he was like, I'm just getting kind of sick of it. You know, like let's figure this out. You know, because it was about a 2 to 3 year like slog of like, how do we reposition it, and to the point where my coach was like, why is this taking so long? But it just does with family and all the variables. And my style isn't a rip the Band-Aid off. I'm just not that guy. I'd rather have it be slow and end up where we need to be, and no one's mad at me in the end. And so that takes longer than just saying this is what we're doing now. And so I'm happy with that, and I think there's lots of good opportunity ahead, and we're heading into just interesting economy with with AI, and what does marketing look like, and what is like housing even look like? What do people want in the next decade? It's going to change so much. And so it gives me confidence that my internal organization is primed to be able to work within all of those different fluctuations that are coming. And there's no way for anybody to know what that's going to look like.
Right.
So it feels good to know that we're ready for whatever comes to be able to shift and serve people in the way that they need to be helped.
Yeah, it sounds like you just you built a really solid foundation, a good time in a lot of uncertainty currently, and then what's coming.
Yeah.
Right? So that's easier to adapt when the foundation's solid.
Yes. And there's going to be friction coming for the real estate industry, for all industries, and a lot of opportunity as well. I don't think it's going to be a disaster. I just think it's going to be a unique decade of a lot of changes, and we'll have to see where that takes us.
Yeah.
So,
with getting the family dynamic to where it is now, what have you seen from the rest of your team? How has that made an impact?
Yeah, I think it's helped them also focus and see that they have a lot of support to back them up, because I've set everybody up. That I think, I've yet to lose a team member, which is frankly pretty rare in the real estate industry.
Totally.
And I think a lot of that is because of the support that they have, and I think a little bit just my personal philosophy of I consider my team members as clients in terms of the way I think about them. And so when I'm going through my client list every Monday and going, who do I need to reach out to? My 3 team members are 1, 2, and 3 on that list, because when you have good talent, keeping it is way easier than replacing it. And I think the biggest thing that you end up, it's so easy to take those people for granted, and all they need is honestly, a lot of it is like them knowing that I'm going to call them every Monday and say, how's it going? How can I help you this week? Is enough. They're not going to, it's going to be hard for them to replicate that somewhere else. That's been my big tool to sort of like keep a team efficient and keep people engaged, and not have to deal with a bunch of internal drama, because a lot of it is just proactive communication, heads off toxic relationships in business, right?
100%.
So.
Communication, conscious communication.
Yeah. But that's the Southwest. The Southwest came up with that, essentially, I don't know, a couple decades ago, where they said, okay, we're going to consider our employees as clients, and we're not going to worry about the consumer. If we just worry about our employees, they will be nice to the consumer, and therefore the consumer will want to fly with Southwest. Southwest's got its problems, but that aspect of it, like any business, you've got rises and falls, but like that's partly why Southwest became such a popular airline in like the early 2020s. I think they're having problems now, but I think it was that.
It's a different CEO,
New CEO.
now.
Different CEO.
New
But
CEO came in, but I mean, part of the way they built the brand is we're going to take care of our people, and that'll ripple into them taking care. Like, it shows up when leaders take care of the people. Those people enjoy what they're doing. They take that home to their families. They treat their families better, and it ripples into the community. Like
and that's
it's
how
simple.
Compass was born. This exact same philosophy early on when Robert Refkin started growing that company out of New York. I mean, his whole pitch to agents at other companies was, every other brokerage company considers you to be an employee, and I consider you to be a client. That was a huge shift in terms of buy-in from the agent community of, okay, this guy's different. We're tired of being like underappreciated, just like considered to be an employee, but we have no benefits, we have no retirement, we have really no support whatsoever. It's like, here's your phone, here's your desk, good luck.
Right.
That's the old school real estate model from a brokerage side. And he came in, he's like, no, you're my clients, and how do I make your lives better? And no one's perfect, but I think Compass has done a better job of providing value to agents than any other brokerage company that's in existence right now. And again, it's just that ripple effect of like the Southwest model of like, treat the people close to you in your company well, and don't worry so much about the consumer, because that will just naturally kind of trickle down what is that called? Trickle down humanity? I don't know.
Trickle down economics.
But, so that's been, and so, I've been around that philosophy a lot, and I've just seen the benefit of it from my little micro company.
So you don't have reoccurring Monday morning meetings. It's a call from you individually to the team?
So we do a team meeting every other Monday.
Okay.
And then I do essentially like a coaching call on the off Mondays.
Got it.
So they're getting me either in person or on the phone every single Monday. And then, of course, I'm accessible to them whenever they need me. But that also has helped me streamline things so that I've got a guy on my team, Cam. He's just getting started. He needs more support than everybody else does. But he knows that he's going to get a call from me on Monday, so he doesn't blow me up all weekend with questions. Like, he knows John's going to call. So, sometimes my call with him is an hour long. And
Sure.
and that's fine because I've scheduled that, but then I don't end up having my week run with somebody who, for obvious reasons, like needs more help, like doesn't know what he doesn't know. And so
Right.
and so that's also helped me to be able to like give him what he needs to thrive without me suddenly being like, I'm constantly getting calls and texts from so-and-so needing help. And so I think having that structure has just helped me run a business a little bit more effectively. And I do the same thing for my clients in the same way. So it helps weed out like needy clients who feel like, oh, it's Sunday at 8:00. I'm having anxiety. I'm going to call John and he'll make me feel better, which is a normal thing to have in real estate. But because they know I'm going to call on Monday, they're like, oh, he's going to call me tomorrow. It's fine. I can put a pin in this. And so I don't get as many like out of nowhere calls and texts and things at odd hours of the night because they have been trained to know that I am proactive and that they will hear from me. They don't have to go track me down.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've eliminated the reactionary nature of what a lot of people deal with, especially in that business where it's like, I have to have my phone on it because when my phone, I'm on me when my phone rings, it's business, it's money. I can't miss the calls. But if I actually, it sounds like, so do you set expectations with your clients and say, hey, I'm going to call you every week until this is done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I kind of joke. I was like, so if we overprice this, you're going to be talking to me for a really long time. It's going to be a year of 52 conversations. If this lasts for a year, it's going to be 52 conversations with John. So you got to decide.
Is that worth? Is that worth?
Yeah,
extra?
That kind of gets a laugh, and they're like, okay, we get it.
That's great.
So, but yeah, so I think that I just have found that whenever you have a pain point in your business, it's so easy to look externally and say, well, our clients are mean, or, our competition is unethical, or whatever your thing is. And the reality is that A, you can't control any of that, and B, it's usually a fallacy. It's usually you're scapegoating what could be a growth moment in your own business of like, what changes can you make? Because that is the one thing you can control. And that's where, like, when people are like, I don't like my clients, they have no respect for me. It's like, okay, well, have you told them what you want? Right. Have you given them any guidance at all about what is normal? Because they probably assume that you love getting the call at 11 o'clock because you keep answering the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're letting people walk all over us because the boundaries haven't been set. I haven't been explicit. I haven't been clear. I haven't stated, here's what I actually want and what I need. It's easier to just complain about it.
Yeah. Well, it's that victim voice. You got to be careful to not listen to the victim voice because it doesn't lead you down a path of growth. It walls you off. And says,
some people live.
Yeah.
Their entire lives are from the victim mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and even just so kind versus nice. And I've had this conversation with Eric a couple times lately. There's been moments where I'll meet someone for the first time, and after that meeting, Eric and I will jump in the car and I'll say like, wow, I just got talked at for an hour, right? Just with someone who I just met. And he's like, well, okay, so how can we practice kind versus nice and maybe stop the being talked at and be able to actually put my voice, bring my inside out and put my voice in the room, even if they continue, they're on this trajectory of just talking and talking and talking. And so yeah, that's another way to just identify the boundaries that I'm letting happen and just walk all over me versus, wait a second, we're here to have a coffee together and this is a two-way conversation. Let me talk a little, maybe. I don't. It's just an interesting thing to navigate in different levels of a relationship as well.
So how do you set that expectation? Because it's like, that's a tough one. Like, we've all been in that, right?
Yeah.
Where like you're like, will you shut up, please?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care about your boyfriend that much. Can we talk about anything else or whatever it is? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is it like do you set the expectation before the conversation? Do you just pull the Rudy card where he will just like stop you mid sentence?
He's really good at that.
But she's like really good at that. It's not like my style, but like it's effective for him. And I think, I don't know. It's like,
I mean, for me, I'm still practicing. I remember even one of my best friends, and I shared this with you, Eric, is I went to meet her for lunch or whatever. And it was the same feeling of this person who I love dearly just talked at me for basically the entire time we were together, and very few questions asked about being curious about my life and whatever, which sometimes the friend needs to vent and how can I also be supportive and say, okay, look, so let's find the period. You're talking in circles right now. What do you actually need from me right now? Because let me help you with whatever that might be. The kind versus nice, again, it's a tough thing to navigate. It can be very uncomfortable. To cut someone off who I'm meeting for the very first time, yeah, that's terrifying. Mm-hmm. And would it serve both of us if I did that in that conversation? It very well could have. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, thinking back to just the scenario that I'm thinking of specifically, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I share it after the meeting and I tell Eric and I say, yeah, I just got talked at. He's like, well, what could you have done differently? Right? It's like, oh, okay, here's a teaching moment.
Don't make me work, Eric.
Here's the coaching.
But it's a really good example of like, it's easier to just complain and just go, I'm going to bite my tongue. You're going to keep talking. Okay, fine. This is interesting. Cool. Yeah. Right. And sometimes when I meet someone like for the first time, I want them to talk more. I'm asking more questions.
Yeah. Right. That's another part is like, I actually do want them to talk more. It's still interesting to me when they ask 0 questions, right? And they don't engage in anything on the other end. I'm like, okay, well, there's maybe some data.
There's part of it, like, so if you use the boyfriend example of someone just going on, it's like, how long am I going to sit here and just let you word vomit all over me? Right. There's a time, like, okay, maybe it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If I'm a really good friend, you get 20. But, right? At some point in there, it's just like, okay, here's what I've heard you say. Yep. What are you going to do about it? What do you want me to do about it?
Yep.
And if the answer is like, I just want to keep talking, it's like, maybe find someone else to keep talking to. I'm here for you, but this isn't helpful, and I'm not a therapist. Right. For sure. There's versions of that where it's just like kind of, again, pointing out it's the whole. So we're talking a lot about some of the conscious communication tools, but like, what's the data and not the story, right? Yeah. We love to get hooked into the story. Yeah. But it's just like, hey, you've been talking for 15 minutes. I get it. Yep. It sounds like it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like there's like the familiarity of being able to do that. And I think, for example, like there are certain people that I know in like the business to business space that if they call, I like look at my watch and I'm like, well, that's a 30-minute conversation. Do I have 30 minutes? Do I want to give 30 minutes to this person? Because it's going to be 30 minutes unless I'm rude. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm stuck in traffic. This sounds great. Yeah. We'll talk football, we'll talk whatever. He's going to dominate the conversation, but it's fine. I'm in a place to do it. And there are other times where I'm like, I do not have the bandwidth to answer this phone call. Yeah. So I let it go to voicemail. And I call him back, or I don't call him back when it's convenient for me. And so I think there's that. We're allowed to not answer the phone too, 100%. Or not take the meeting.
It's one of so when anytime someone calls and says, hey, do you have a minute? Or is now a good time? I'm like, I wouldn't have picked up if I'm not. I'm here. You got me.
Yeah.
I get the respect part of it, but I'm always, my methodology is like, if I don't answer, then I'm not available. If I answer, I'm here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting. I literally started a conversation yesterday asking.
I don't know that it's a bad thing either, because some people don't operate that way. I've had people be like, they pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm actually in the middle of something. Let me call you right back. You know, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
I've started saying like, is now a bad time?
Yeah.
As like my rote thing, because it kind of lets people off the hook, because they can say, you know what, it kind of is. Can I call you back? And it allows them to be gracious and be like, no, this is a great time. Like, what do you want to talk about? You know, but I started saying that instead of, do you have 5 minutes? Or just launching into conversation, which I would have been super guilty of at times.
Yeah. Again, some people operate. Is there an intentional reason you say bad time instead of good time?
I think because it puts it in their mind of like, I don't know. Someone told us, I got it from somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard versions of it.
There's intentionality behind it.
Yeah.
I wish I should I don't really know the science behind bad versus good, but there's something about bad lets them have a guilt-free response versus good. So it's like, is this a bad time? It's easier for them to say, to bow out. And from my perspective in real estate, I want to get people, I don't want to ambush people.
Right.
I want to be constantly messaging to my clients that when I call, it's not a trap.
Sure.
You know, because it's a big deal. It's like, oh, my realtor's calling. What's
now what?
Like what? He wants.
What's wrong with the deal now?
I'm never going to sell this house. Why is he calling?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never want to be that guy because there's a lot of obviously if someone decides to hire me to sell their house, I'm going to make a lot of money on that transaction. They know that. You know, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in the value I bring, but they also know that. And so when I call someone 6 months after they bought, I don't want them to send me to voicemail because they're worried about the sales pitch. So for me, it's now a bad time is like my way of being like, hey, I am inconveniencing you for a moment. And if this is not what you want from your realtor right now, we do not have to have this conversation. You know, so it's effective for me basically to build trust.
I think it's effective to ask for just me when anyone calls me. If anyone's listening, if you call me, if I pick up, it's a good time. That's all I'm trying to say.
Just the rule with Eric.
So you can skip that part. It's like, no, we're good. I picked up the phone.
Yeah. And I think it's who's calling, you know, like if I'm calling you, it's like I'm technically your client, right? You know, in that sort of scenario. Right. So it's different.
There's different dynamics at play.
You know?
But even so, with what you said earlier about like I look at the phone and it's, this is going to be a 30-minute phone call. The trick is, how do I not be rude? Yeah. Right? How do I be kind, not nice, and not try to be nice, and also not rude?
Right.
And just be like, hey, John, I've got 10 minutes, and can I actually set that expectation up front? Right. If I know it, there's ways to do it without being a jackass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's an art to that, and it depends on the person, and still might end up being 30 minutes because it's just going to be 30 minutes.
Right. It's going to be 30 minutes.
But there's things I can navigate and kind of massage a little bit.
This is terrible content for a podcast, but you got to tell me about the watch. I've been staring at it.
Oh, no, it's really good content for it.
Well, we don't have any video, right?
Well, I know, but just describe it.
Yeah. So it's a white watch that just says now.
Okay.
The time is now.
There's no actual clock in it.
Okay.
So the on the website it's a timeless watch.
Okay.
It's just so I got it about 10 years ago, and I
it's not a new thing.
I threw it in a drawer, and I was just like, this is kind of cool, and it's just a reminder to be present, right?
Wow.
Like,
nice.
There's time is kind of a construct, and it's just a reminder to kind of breathe and be in the moment as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, but I dug it out of a drawer.
I've honestly really enjoyed it. The timing of it, LOL. The timing of it coming out recently is really just aligned with shifts that have been happening with us in the business, and so the time is now. When you wear it, Eric, it actually also helps me and my mentality of just the time is now for what we're doing, and it's happening right now. So there's layers to you bringing out that watch.
I've never thought of it as like the time is now, like we're on the verge of something, but the time is now. It's like, no, it's now o'clock.
It's now. Yeah.
It's always now. It only can be now. So
It can only be
Love
now.
that.
I've had it. Yeah, I've worn it a few times lately, and people have been like, "What's up with the watch?" So, valid question.
Oh, which led me to an internal observation. Do either of you ever check the time on your watch, or do you use your phone to check the time?
I don't like watches. I don't wear them ever.
So you don't wear watches.
I don't
Do
wear
you?
them.
But you, I mean, you're not wearing like a watch.
I typically don't wear them that much. I haven't
Because like
more regularly.
I
worn
just
them.
realized like I
You wear a
never
watch.
check my time. I always wear a watch, and I never
Never check
check
it.
the time on the. It's just purely jewelry.
It's jewelry.
It's just my habit is you pull out the phone, you look at what time it is. Like I don't even. This isn't even right.
It's not even
No.
accurate.
Is it even working?
I don't even know. Like it says it's 10 o'clock right now. So, but it's just like I'm not a ring guy or a necklace guy, but I do like watches, and so like that's my one person bit of like whatever personalization. But it's funny. It's completely jewelry now since the iPhone. Like I don't.
So why not wear a bracelet versus a watch? Is there something about the watch
You're right.
look?
No, it's just I've decided that's my identity, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to have something that goes like on the, it's like I got my wedding ring and I got my watch and like I feel like I'm ready to go out the door. And like,
Yeah.
It feels complete. It's like naked if you don't have a
yeah,
watch. at this
totally.
point.
Like and to the point where like I'll drive away and I'll be like, fuck. Where's my, like,
Where's my watch?
whatever. I don't have like a million of them, but like I've got the ones that I like and they're sentimental to me. And like this one I bought right before I got married. It's got my like anniversary engraved on it and stuff.
Sure.
And like, it's
Yeah.
important to me. It's like I bought it because it matches my wedding ring. But you're right. It's completely fashion now. It has no functionality whatsoever.
It doesn't even have the right time.
No,
It's amazing.
it's not even set right.
It's awesome.
I don't even know if the battery probably went out on it, but I
So-
don't ever check it, so I don't even.
Funny. That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
So this would be great for you.
It'd be great.
Yeah, it just needs to just replace internally and just have
Yeah,
it say
I
now.
could just tattoo like a little watch on my wrist.
Oh, I thought about getting this tattoo, like something like this as a tattoo.
Oh, like
tattoo.
a little
watch band
and
that
then
says
just says now.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty
That's,
dope.
That's a
thought-
cool tattoo.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Like someone tattoo jewelry, like tattoo a watch like on their wrist.
I've seen obviously rings. I've seen people do the ring.
I've seen new rings,
but
yeah.
I thought about it. I
Yeah.
don't know. It didn't.
You're not very good with tattoos, though.
I wouldn't make it.
Not as bad as I am at, but I honestly don't think I can get through it.
Really?
So this
Yeah.
one,
That tiny
the
one
little-
he has.
I passed out.
Yeah, I think I would pass out for sure.
It literally was less than 5 minutes. I didn't even have enough time to pass out. Like
Yeah.
he's like, "Are you okay? I'm done." Like as I was
He's, like,
starting to
passing
sweat.
out.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. And you can't take painkillers because it's a blood thinner. So I was just like,
You can. I mean,
Okay.
for this tattoo, granted it's a small little light bulb, but for that tattoo, I was hammered when I walked in there. And
I
it
would
was,
have to be hammered. I
Yeah.
would not do well. with
Yeah.
it.
So
I
when they
have
tell
no
you
pain tolerance.
when they tell you can't show up with blah, blah, it's a lie. There's places that'll tattoo you under whatever condition.
So you got money? Well, whatever you want.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever you want.
They know the limits, right? Like,
Eat a bag of mushrooms. And just come in.
yeah.
Oh,
Stosberries taste like stosberries.
That's funny.
Oh man. Well,
so funny. So
day.
So growing up, I had me and my best friend. We had a watch thing, and so for like 12 years, we had this. We had the same like stopwatch,
okay.
and it was like this $20. But we both had the same thing. In the summer,
Mm-hmm.
we would both be running around all summer, and then we would at the end of the summer we would compare like tan lines because we would both wear it all the time. So I have for whatever reason that was a thing, and then I stopped wearing watches after that. Shortly
Okay.
after that, but growing up is like I loved watches, and then, it was obviously before phones and stuff.
Yeah. It's just become like a fashion thing, I guess. But you're right. I should go like. Maybe there's a bracelet that would accomplish the same
Maybe.
thing.
I mean,
I don't know.
not because it's a should thing. It's just
No,
curiosity.
but it is
of-
interesting,
Yeah.
Well, what's the saying about Rolexes? The only reason to wear a Rolex is so when back this is like suits and like Wall Street stuff is like the reason people wear the Rolexes is because the car doesn't fit into the building. I can't drive my car into
Yep,
the building.
absolutely.
I gotta wear it on my wrist.
And that's
Oh,
absolutely
never
the
heard
case
that.
with Rolex or Patek Philippe or any watch that's worth $5,000 or more. it's so people will notice it.
Yeah,
and
it's
be
a
like,
status.
Oh,
It's a status thing.
I know how much that's worth. It's same
Yeah.
with purses. You know,
Yeah.
someone's going to go invest in a Fendi. It's so that people notice.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't even imagine like carrying something around that's worth that much money.
Yeah.
Because it's just not who I am. And so,
Yeah.
and at the same time, okay, if I was in a way higher tax bracket, does that mean the same thing to me as what I'm currently buying now means,
Yes.
right? Where it's just, well, I can afford it. It doesn't matter.
It's a $20 bill.
It's a 20,
Right.
exactly.
well, it's like, what is certain thing? It's some of it's like your upbringing and it's cultural and
Yeah.
like there's just a lot that goes into whether you're comfortable ever, regardless of of like how much money you end up having, walking around with a $50,000 watch or whatever.
Right.
I don't know that I would ever be comfortable with that kind of a watch,
Sure, or a ring.
because it's just not the same way that like I don't care how much money I have, I'm never going to go buy a Ferrari. That's not what I would want to. I don't want to turn heads that way.
Yeah.
But somebody else, no judgment. Like if that's their thing, like that's great. I mean, I think they're great cars, and I had admire them. And I've got clients with them, and I'm like, great car. I would love to like drive in it. I'd love to like take it for a ride, but I don't have any aspirations to own that car. So
What is your relationship to money?
good question. I think for me, it's more about feeling like my version of like fuck you money.
Yeah.
Is being able to walk into the nicest grocery store you can name and not look at the bill.
Grocery store.
Like
okay.
like Seaside Market in Cardiff. Like
Yeah.
I want the kind of money where I can walk in every single day, not like for a date night, and just walk through and be like, I'm gonna grab a fillet and I'm gonna grab some whatever. Like whatever's in there.
Yeah.
I'm never going to Trader Joe's again. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to the most expensive, and I never look at the bill. I never even look at it. Like that to me is like that's my version of like I would love to be that guy. I like nice cars. I just don't need the kind of car that everyone's like, holy shit.
Sure.
Right.
That's a ridiculous car. That car is worth as much as some people's homes. I don't need that.
Right.
I don't need the $1 million Bugatti or whatever. Like it's ridiculous to me. And then just being able to essentially travel and not have to like fly coach. I don't want to. I have no aspirations of yachts and private jets and all that like super ridiculous like whatever Succession type wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being a big guy, like if I had the ability to fly not private, but fly first class, and not
have some
bankrupt
space.
myself,
Right.
I would probably do that. You know, like that's my version of like of the ridiculous. For somebody else might be like that's a waste of money. It's like because you're 5'5". Like,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand my pain. Like being in like, I'm gonna fly to Boston on Friday
Cross country 6 hours.
And I'm gonna be miserable. But I can't fly 5 people to Boston on business class, let alone first class.
Put the family in the bag.
Yeah, put the family in the bag.
Yeah, and that's
How you guys doing back there? All good? Okay, cool.
That's also something that like other people say that, and I was like, I can't do that.
No,
I'm not that guy. Like if
I
I'm gonna
wouldn't
do
be able
it,
to
everyone's
either.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise I'm gonna be with everybody else. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
Have you
know.
flown first class before?
I have never flown first class.
Okay.
I've flown business class.
Okay.
Actually, no, I have flown first class because I got upgraded when I was like a
So
kid.
you've had the
When you
experience.
were
I
a
know what
kid.
it is.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you've had the
the hot
experience
towels
of,
and the shit.
well, just
and
for just
yeah.
you for like, oh, like I'm taller, maybe that would be better, but you've actually been sat in it and go,
Yeah.
oh wow, no, this actually makes a really big difference
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big like okay, my life is objectively better like, flying first class than it would be back with the peasants, you know. No, I'm kidding, but you know, but yeah. So we'll see how I do, but I don't love how cramped you are for a good 5-6 hours on a flight.
On the long
to the East
flights,
Coast.
I can relate to that.
So
you're a little bit taller than me, but
yeah.
my knees, I get creaky knees after a couple hours.
Yep. So
I can relate to the fuck you money, right? Where it's so much more, because what I'm hearing is it's so much more about experience than it is about a material item or a thing or what to wear or what to drive and that kind of thing. And I'm the same way. It's so much more about, okay, so comfort in travel and the things that I'm doing. So that's the first class version of that. And then just taking the trip because I want to take the trip, to doing the thing because I want to do the thing and experience it with my friends and
Yeah.
When I want to go to a concert, buying 8 tickets instead of 1 or 2 because I want to experience it with people.
Right.
And bring people.
Right.
And
not feel like, oh my God, like whatever, your kid, it's like, can we go parasailing? And you're like, oh my God, it's a tourist trap ripoff. Like they're gonna,
Sure.
you know what I mean? But it's like, who cares? It's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
It's not giving me anxiety to write the $500,
Right.
credit card to go have 2 people go parasailing or whatever they overcharge for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And those are the kind of things, like, that's the level I'm trying to end up at.
yeah.
Taking your kids skiing. It's so expensive.
So expensive.
And I would love to just be able to, like, do that and not be like, do you know what this is costing me?
We're going more than once. Get back up. Get on the lift.
And like that's how I was raised. We're like, if my dad did something like that, he needed to let me know how important it was and how much of a financial sacrifice it was. Which,
Yeah.
like, I understood that, but it also was like, oh, like,
you're kind of taking the fun out of it.
you're kind of, yeah. It's like, where's the fun? And now I feel bad.
Right.
Like,
Tell me after, when I'm a little bit older, of, like,
Yeah.
that was a really nice thing I did for you.
right.
Remind me.
Well, exactly. That's what I would rather have, is like the kid grows up and starts like looking into it for himself, and he's like, oh my God, I had no idea what all that costed, and now I appreciate it. But
Remind me how old your kids are?
they're 6, 9, and 10.
How does money show up for especially the 9 and 10-year-old? Like, how do you guys treat money within the family? Do they have chores?
They have chores. I strategically got rid of my landscaper in 2020, in part for financial reasons, but then part because, and then like I was like fine to hire him back, and I never did, because I realized there's such value in like forcing my kids to do manual labor.
Yeah.
I've got free work or
So
cheap labor.
they're mowing the lawn and trimming the bushes and edging and all that kind of stuff. I've got showing Heidi how to prune roses and fertilize and all that kind of stuff. And I think I'm the only family on the street that doesn't have a gardener. I mean, Encinitas is pretty wealthy now, and so some of my neighbors are like giving me side eye, like
she's for hire.
like you're like oh, those poor kids. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, my kids are gonna be way less spoiled than your kids, you know. And sometimes the gardeners will give me side eye, being like, "You're taking my job," and I'm like, well, "Yeah, but like, come on, like I'm trying to make my kids not completely spoiled, And so it's been good to have them be able to like learn how to do that kind of stuff. And I think as you build wealth, it's so easy to bring in too much help to the point where your kids' lives are just a little bit too easy.
Yeah. I mean, pretty typical is like, I make it really easy. It's hard, then it's easy, and then it's easier for the next generation.
Yeah.
Right.
And so so to me, it's like, let's make it easy in that when we want to go have experiences, we can say yes to that.
Yeah.
But we don't need a chef. Like, I'm not at that level, but you know what I mean? Like, that's where but I have clients that do that, and they're like, I get it, because you're like, they justify it and like, look, like, this is like, my time is so valuable now that like, I need this. But like, that's an opportunity of like, hey kids, like, we need help. Like, I can't cook dinner.
Let's make the
so
meal
you're gonna
together.
learn.
Yeah.
Like, you've got ChatGPT and YouTube are a thing. Like, you use them. Like, you could be getting like a 12-year-old could be cooking dinner. And it's funny. It's like, it's actually easier for kids to pick up the slack and help out a family now than ever. Because even if mom and dad aren't super good at teaching it, like, they can go like, how do I make spaghetti? Like, step by step.
Yeah.
Put it in the bowl, like, it's possible. You just have to give your kids the opportunity to like.
You've got me thinking about
that.
my sister when we were there in Denver in May. Her kids she was 3 under 5, and they were making their own pizzas.
Yeah.
And they were all having
They
fun.
were tiny little humans, and I'm just watching in awe.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm sorry, you're 3, you're making a pizza. I don't even make pizza, honestly. Okay, so when you said that, I was like, wait, that's what I would do with fuck you money. I'd hire a chef,
And
because
that's all right.
I don't cook.
I mean, Destiny, let's go. Like,
Yes. Legit.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
we have one more
I
dinner
get
with
it.
her this year.
So, as you say that, I'm sort of like, huh, that would be nice.
I would no,
Sounds
that would be
nice.
1000% because Eric knows I don't cook. I
Okay.
mean, if I'm
Yeah.
cooking, it's out of
Yeah.
the box. It's a mac and cheese or it's a hamburger helper. Like
Sure.
frozen pizza. Like that's
Not your thing.
it's not my thing. So 1000% to eat healthy on a consistent basis, private chef, make my meals for the week. Yes, that you're hired.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing with fuck you money.
That's great. And you could even do, like, example, like if you're okay with like meal planning, you could hire a chef to just be, here you go.
Yeah,
You know?
here's your meals for the week. Here's all you need. Here's your breakfasts, your lunches and
Yeah.
dinners, and yep,
Yeah.
100%.
I think that's great. But yeah, I think, like, especially since like my wife homeschools and stuff, it's like, let's not make this so easy. Like, they
Yeah.
have such an opportunity to like learn so
Yeah.
much and have so much independence at a young age. Some of which I was raised with. My mom stopped doing my laundry at like 7th grade.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, 7th grade. She was like, "You're on your own." And there were
You're in charge of
there
your
were
own clean
certainly
underwear.
days where I was like, "Mom, I ain't got no underwear." And she was like, "That's a you problem." Like, like turn them inside out and don't and then good luck.
You better wash them tonight. I don't know what to tell you.
So I figured it out, and so I was like, I was so ready for college, where everybody else was like having their, like, not everybody, but there's always that college kid where like mom would show up on the weekends to do the laundry,
Yeah.
and I knew how to do all that stuff. I was so like self-contained because my mom just was like, "You're capable of this," and
Yeah.
I've got enough on my plate to deal with my own laundry and your dad's laundry, who won't do any of that.
I married him.
My dad
I'm
is
committed to
super
that.
old school. Like, my dad does not do laundry, and he is capable of making cereal, and that's it.
Yes.
So my mom is like, "You are gonna learn to do more than that." So,
Which, I mean, part of those lessons setting you up for success for entrepreneurship and owning
Yeah.
a business, right?
Yeah.
It's learning, how do I manage my own household, my own self, and then now as an adult, how do I instill that into my kids and my team? And
I'll have to find it. I've sent this to my sister. There's a couple of videos about how chores are I'm training my kids to be employees with chores. I think there's value in, like, here's the things that we need to get done.
Yeah.
But this is part of life. So I don't want to reward you for the things that are part of life. And it's more of, I have to find the video, but it's, if you like, so part of making money is creating value. And so the video is basically the way that he has it set up with his kids. If you basically pitch me on ways that you're creating value, I'll pay you for that.
yeah, the
So
ideas.
it's like, I want to train entrepreneurs, not employees.
Yeah.
And chores are just reinforcing this, like, tell me what to do, I go do it.
Yep.
Versus, like, I'll pay you for the ideas. You say you want to go do this, great. Like, go put that into action, and then I'll reward you for that. Right. So it was a really interesting.
That's interesting.
Interesting concept for
I love that.
different way to build kids up in a different way. I don't know that one's right or wrong.
Well, no, it's an interesting concept, though, of like turning on that light bulb.
Yeah.
Of like, the idea is more valuable than the labor,
Right.
right? And so, like, or has value, or however you want to word it, versus just, because I think my kids are certainly in that mode of like, "Hey, I want a new skateboard. You won't buy it for me. So, like, how many lawns do I need to mow?"
Right.
And like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
It's good.
It's better than him being like, "Buy me a skateboard, you
Yes.
idiot," or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the next step.
I'll try to find that video. There's
Yeah.
a couple. I think I sent them to you too.
You did, and I really appreciated that. I mean, and this is coming from two humans who don't have kids, so take that with a grain of salt. Going back to what you said about your mom in 7th grade, when you were in 7th grade, saying, "Yeah, you're on your own." It's like, okay, so if I start my kids out at a younger age doing chores and they're receiving money for those chores, but eventually I want to be like your mom who's like, "No, you're old enough to take care of this." Like, there's no, you're on your own, kid.
There's not a profit.
There's not a
here.
profit, exactly. Like, she's not going to pay you to do your own laundry.
Yeah.
So then, what behaviors do I want to reinforce or not reinforce through certain either monetary or not, or it's all just very fascinating. And again,
That was the other point of it, was just like, there are certain things in life that I do every single day that I don't get paid for. So
Yeah.
there's a time and a place for it, but like that's actually not worth money. You doing the dishes that we all need to do as a family,
Right.
That's a collective thing that needs to happen.
Yep.
So we need you to pitch in.
For sure. And those are the things, like cleaning your room, helping with dinner, sorting laundry, like none of that is for profit.
Right.
But if you're replacing my gardener, sure. Happy to do that. If, my kids get a little older where I'm not worried about like chemicals or them being idiots and they're like, hey, we want to clean the house once a week, I'll pay them really well.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to do that, you know what I mean? But right now they don't want, they wouldn't do a good job.
If you're just reallocating funds that you're already putting into things,
then
that
it's
makes a lot of sense.
I'm happy to do that.
I think the other side of that too is sometimes that can, even like the chores and stuff, like it can spark, I really love this, right? There's people, I think of like the people that do like the closet cleaning type stuff, or the organizers is like, if you love that and you can have, I can get paid for this, and people want me to do it, like it could spark a whole kind of career mental.
Well, yeah, even with the lawn care thing that you mentioned, what if at one point, whichever one of your kids is like, I'm actually really good at this.
Yeah.
And going to the neighbors and replacing, not to replace the people that's already working
but
there,
competing,
but just
competing
exactly.
Which is fine.
Which is a great lesson.
Yeah.
And how cool to, there we go, entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Did you have a lemonade stand? Did either of you have lemonade stands?
We did a little bit. Yeah, my kids do it here and there.
They do it?
Yeah.
Did you, though, as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did? Mm-hmm. I did not. Oh. I didn't do the lemonade stand. I did the Girl Scout cookie thing. I did whatever fundraising weird things came through the school. I don't know what I was selling for.
Selling candy and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I was selling these random...
The Scholastic book.
Well, the Scholastic book fair was things for us to buy as kids. That would come through, but there would be things that we'd have to sell to candles and weird shit around the holidays. Right. I don't know. Again, now I'm really curious. Who was I selling this for? I don't know exactly. Looking back to my schools, but that stuff I did. I never had the I'm gonna put up a lemonade stand situation.
That's so funny. Yeah, I sold Christmas wreaths to the Boy Scouts.
Oh, did you?
Door to door, same way as the Boy Scout cookie kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Wreaths and garlands and stuff, and all my neighbors, and I'd knock on the door and go. They're like, oh, you again. All right. You're still cute. I guess I'll buy one.
You're still cute.
Yeah. Remember that. It was funny. And then I grew up and knocked on doors to try to sell real estate, and I lasted 2 weeks, and I said, if this is the only way to do real estate, I'm getting a different job. I hated it.
So door to door you were doing knocking.
Yeah. Knock on doors, and I just.
How long ago was that you did the door to door?
I was 24. A long time ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in Carmel Valley, right in off Delmar Heights, right there. And I was knocking on doors in the community and did it for 2 weeks straight, just the same neighborhood a couple times in a row. And it is true. You knock on 100 doors, you get one nice person, and then everybody else either doesn't answer or they're really mean to you. And I was like, I don't want to do this. This is not for me. And I think it's gotten more that way since the pandemic. People are like, don't knock on my door.
Yeah, well, it's like the whole, who's turning around in my driveway right now, right? Just even seeing headlights.
I don't, I even it's funny, I'm weird. I feel like having the no solicitation sign on your front door is a little bit rude, but I also hate solicitors. So I'm in this weird place of maybe I should put the sign, because when people do knock on my door, I'm not the nicest. Elizabeth is super nice, and she'll open the door, and then she realizes that the guy isn't gonna leave because he's I
got her. She's talking to me.
And then she'll come in and be like, "Can you talk to this guy?" And I'm just like, "Why?" And then I come out and I'm like, "It's not happening, dude."
What are they usually trying to sell you?
Solar. Real estate.
Pest
sometimes.
control stuff.
Real estate's easy because I'm just I'm a realtor, bro. And then he's like, "Sorry," and then they leave. But
my bad.
But it's a lot of it's solar and pest control, and they're just on a script, and they don't take no for an answer, and so it's just, I get it. It's a grind, and
yeah.
I get it, but I hate it.
Well, the thing that really bothers me is I'll be like, hey, I don't want to say yes right now, but give me your card. I'll think about it. And they're like, I'm not allowed to give you my card. And
what?
I'm like, All of them are that way because they're salaried employees. So like they're just supposed to get you to sign up, and it's all a pitch of like get them to sign up then and there, because if they won't, they're not real anyway.
Right.
And I'm just like, all right, well, what are we doing? Now you're just bothering me.
It's such a racket for kids that are. So there's two sides to it. One is like it can be really great sales experience. I can knock on 100 doors. I can get the experience of being told no, and that can be really valuable.
Yeah.
But for some, it's like these kids out of college, or right in high school, and they have no experience, and they're doing it with like their friends, and like it's.
Yep.
There's so many things about it that it's like this is exploiting.
It is exploitive.
It's exploiting,
and it's soul sucking. And
soul sucking,
see the joy of their like youthful eyes like die. You're like,
we had my cousin. My cousin was out here for a little bit. He's from Wisconsin, and he was out selling pest control. Probably knocked on your door.
Yeah.
For a couple months, and it's like the equivalent of a cult that like these kids get brainwashed a little bit of like it's gonna be so fucking great. You're gonna make all this money. You're gonna be hanging out with your friends, all this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And then 6 months go by, and they go, we recycle it. Everyone goes back and do it again.
The crazy thing though is because we obviously like hung out with his cousin while he was here.
Yeah.
And we would ask him like, oh yeah, like, so tell me about the pay structure and like, what are you getting from this? He's like, oh, well, if I get XYZ, then I'll get a TV or I'll get like a prize. I'm like, okay, but like, are you getting paid like a monetary bonus or something for? He's like, well, no, then I get like this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but do you realize that company is getting all that shit for free because they have some kind of weird partnership with wherever they're getting all of the shit from, right? And
or it just fell off a truck somewhere.
Yeah, and so now they're just giving it away because they have. I'm like,
these people are getting paid with stuff. Like they're not getting.
My cousin specifically was like, well, he was getting paid. He had
minimal pay.
It was minimal.
So like minimum wage, and then
he was excited to get a what was the thing to ride on your feet? What are those things called?
Oh, the
Segway.
Segway.
Like a Segway.
Yes, he was
the
excited.
2-wheel scooters that
he was
you see those
excited
guys
to ride
around.
a Segway. He was like, if I get this much in sales, he's like, I'll get a Segway and I can ride that around to my fucking door knocking. And I'm like, what? That's what you're excited about?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right.
These companies are evil.
They're evil.
It's crazy.
That's terrible. And I actually have seen one of those salesmen on the Segway. And
he earned that. He earned that.
So
shit.
proud of himself. He's like, everybody, going around like Peter Pan. Like,
yeah, he earned that Segway.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to be nicer to these people now. I'm gonna be like, hey.
No, be like blink twice. Be like blink twice if you want out. I can get you out.
Like, yeah. Are you okay? Does your mom know that you're here?
I think you're being brainwashed somehow.
God. Yeah. Oh, I need to be a little nicer.
And I was trying. It was funny because I was like, when my cousin was here, I was like, dude, you can go do the door knocking thing, or you can go build relationships with people. If you want to do that, let me know, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. And there's some people I can introduce you to.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, I'm gonna put my head down. He's like, I gotta grind.
So did he stick with it?
He was there for like 6 months. Yeah, it was
It's
pretty good to
the other side of that, I'm like, if you go do that, you can go do anything.
Yeah.
Like you will have the experience to go do anything.
If you can sustain that for 6 months, then he's got something. I mean, don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But like,
I have no idea what he's got. What he went.
That.
It's been a minute since I talked to him, but he went back home. He's in Wisconsin, and I don't know what he's up to now. But
God damn.
Yeah, that grind is
crazy. Like,
crazy.
just like heartbreaking. When we were talking about the pay stuff, and like, you get a TV as a bonus. That's your.
I mean, to be fair, that reminds me back to my mom. She worked for a company she was doing outbound calls, and she would get rewarded based on whatever package that she was selling, and if she hit certain numbers. And it was the same thing. She would get a TV or a microwave or all this just crap, right? But here's the thing is they feed on people who are living under, maybe not like poverty per se, but they're just in a different bracket. And so they're providing these items and these really fancy looking things and making it shiny. And that's certainly where my mom was at that stage. And she crushed. She came home with all kinds of cool stuff. I was a kid, so I didn't and
Yeah.
see all of this that I see now as a business owner, and how shitty that is to pay employees with TVs.
With stuff.
It can be a motivating, like, to make it tangible. There's a time and a place for it, but if the bonus is tied to all just like these not cheap, but just but it can be more motivating to be like, hey, when you do this, we give you this, right? And it can be a quality thing. So there's a time and a place for it. But if there's not also monetary compensation, like if your mom makes the company $1 million and she gets
a TV. It's like, well,
that's a little out of whack.
Yeah, and you see that across so many industries. I mean, I've always looked at the whole structure of like, oh, if I have this much sales, I get invited to the retreat in Fiji.
Yep.
Right.
The retreat thing.
And then it's like because of that, they are treated so poorly because they hold that over their head of like, I know that you get no respect here, but just keep your head down because you'll probably go to Fiji or wherever and I think it like gets people trapped in these companies because they're just like, well, at least I get to go. I got made President's Club again, and
it's what you said at the beginning. Would you ever do that to a client?
Right.
Like, no,
right.
I would never dangle a carrot like that in front of a client. Or it's like, if you do this, we give you this. Like, it's a transactional relationship, right? Is what it comes down to. And that's unfortunately that's how a lot of employees are looked at, is they're on a P&L, they're an expense.
Yeah. Well, and it's all structured that way. I mean, don't get me started on health insurance through companies. I mean, I've seen so many of my friends, they're like, I don't want to be at this company anymore. And I'm like, great. What's stopping you? And he's like, well, the health insurance is really good.
Yeah.
And that's shitty,
It's sad.
And it's like these companies they're like, okay, the best business model we can do is overpay for good health insurance and then underpay for salary. Because we know at the end of the day, the thing that they're most worried about is losing their benefits more than their income.
Yeah.
And it's all by design. Right. And that's fucked.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
the carrot for so many people.
Yeah. And so they will tote, and I mean, and truthfully, like some of these companies, their benefits are phenomenal. But then when you look at like what they're making, and then you go, okay, well, what if to like replicate that, if they were just making, it doesn't make sense. Like
Right.
I've always felt like I would rather like pay me more and then I can go figure out my own health insurance.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like that doesn't work really well either, because we have basically like painted ourselves into a corner where the only way to get affordable health care is through an employer. There is no such thing as affordable health care as a self-employed person. I can dig into that if you want. You know what I mean? And
we're aware.
That's,
Yeah,
you're like, wait a second. Well, I thought this was supposed to be affordable. It is for the vast majority of Americans that are working for the man. It is very affordable, but for everybody else, it's not. And that's kind of, again, by design, by corporations and insurance companies. It's just, that's the way that it's set up.
Yeah. It's a broken system.
It's broken. So
Very broken system.
That's so unfortunate, though, to think about it in the sense that for so many people, that part, the health insurance, is the reason to stay with somebody, even if they're miserable.
Yep. And I think a lot of Americans live with chronic issues that
for sure.
It's not like they'll just like, oh, I just won't get sick. It's like for a lot of, I mean, like I am lucky, like I don't have any chronic issues. I don't go to the doctor ever, but like for a lot of people, like that's not an option.
Yeah.
And so they're tied to that reality, and there's not an easy path out of that. So.
Yeah, I mean, so much of it is there's no money in healthy people.
No.
It's part of the problem.
That is a big problem.
It's crazy, though, because I feel that what I've seen so much, there's been such a big shift in so many people investing in healthy consumption of things, right? Just look at the amount of things that just have protein labeled on it now, because protein has become the number one thing that everyone has to have so much of every single day. There's so many fast food restaurants that are out there that are just advertising that all of their shit is filled with protein. It's the same food that people have been consuming for years. It just has protein on it. So I think it's an interesting thing where we're trying to, I guess the healthcare system and the pharmaceuticals, they're all trying to keep people sick to make money off of it. It's like, well, there's also money in people wanting to be healthy. If we sell them the health at an expensive cost, can we just flip it? Can we flip it? In some way, shape, or form.
There's way more money in people being sick.
It's just the volume of profit in pharmaceuticals is astronomical. And that's the hardest thing, is that the stuff that is like simple is cheap and therefore not profitable from big pharma. And that's the hard part. And unfortunately, like all of the medical journals, all of the science, all of their funding is coming from where? It's all coming from big pharma. I'm not even criticizing it. It's just is. Like, we're in a capitalist society. Like, I think that's great, but there's a downside to that, which is that everything in our life is for profit. And like, that's just the reality we live in. And
including our life.
Including our life. And I have to remind my wife, like when she goes to pediatrician, it's like, look, this is great. I'm so glad that we have a pediatrician. Just remember, this pediatrician is for profit. So everything that she says about our kids and what percentile they're at and all these kind of things, there is a profit center behind everything she says. Doesn't mean that we don't agree with it and decide to say yes, but we need to remind ourselves of that before we just consider physicians to be a god. And I think that's the biggest mistake that Americans make, is they think that we have socialized medicine. We don't. And maybe that's fine. But don't just remember there's a profit center. So when someone says you should take this drug, do your own research. Decide if that's actually like to your benefit. It might be. But we're being sold by everyone in our lives. And as long as you know that, it's fine. But I think people want to say, well, no, they said so. It must be true. It's like, okay, but we're all being incentivized. Even me in real estate, I'm being incentivized. I have to be careful, like that I'm separating like something and doing right by the consumer, and like it doesn't come easy sometimes. And so like I think it's like, don't be a shitty person, do right by your clients, but also know that like every person you come into contact with has some sort of financial motive. Doesn't make them bad people, but I think if you forget that, then it's kind of on you, right? At the end of the day.
I think that perspective is important. That's been my mentality. So I mean, two places that mentality has shown up for me like consistently is at the anything with a car.
Exactly.
Mechanic, buying a car, anything like that. And then the vet is this like bringing a pet to a vet. There's an emotional thing that happens, and I've like my guard goes up anytime we start talking about things that I need to do for it's like, well, hold on, what's actually necessary versus what are our options versus what are you recommending? Let's talk those out first before we just go do the thing that's going to cost me $500, $1,000, $200, $2,000.
And I think so much of like things, bodies heal. They're designed to heal. They're designed to progress. We're all and I think like the pharmaceutical world doesn't want to acknowledge that sometimes like doing nothing and getting more sleep and eating better is enough.
Totally.
I'm convinced.
Totally.
It's as simple as sleeping, getting sleep, drinking water. Walking, just some sort of physical activity like you do, and then eating more portion control than anything else. I don't even think you have to eat great. I think just portions. Like if you do those four things, like you're gonna be pretty healthy.
And I think that's the truth. I mean, to give you a silly example, but like when my daughter was, I don't know, 6 months old, they were like, we'll do like a complimentary like hearing test. And they were like, oh, your daughter is partially deaf in her right ear. we really recommend that you do this, whatever, like therapy, like physical therapy kind of stuff to like help her hearing. And it was like $4,000. And I was like, wait a second, this doesn't feel right to me. They're scaring me, and I'm like worried for my kid, but I'm also like, wait a second, this kid's 6 months old. In 6 more months, she's like literally a completely new human. Let's just do nothing and see what happens. And 6 months later, she had perfect hearing. And I was like, okay, so this was just a complete scam. And not to say that there are cases where that technology does help people, but it's slow down.
Yeah, let's wait a little bit.
Don't do something just because you're scared.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just playing into a profit center. And so sometimes just do nothing.
With what you said about she's a completely new person in 6 months, I found out a really interesting fact, and I actually don't know that it's 100% true, but I'm going to say it like it is because it seemed like a reliable source. But did you know the only cells in our bodies that we've had from day one are our eyes, our ears, and our brains?
I didn't hear that. I heard that every 7 years everything is replaced. So you're saying that
Except
those. Except those. Interesting.
Eyes, ears, and brain?
Yeah.
Which explains why you have that's dark. I'm making the connections now. Like those don't get replaced, which is why we end up with degenerative hearing and sight.
Sure, those are the three
memory,
things that go.
Because those don't get replaced.
Yeah.
All right, AI. Fix that. How do we get those to actively replace the rest of our... That's so interesting. I wonder what that would be. There's always a reason for everything.
Well, they're also part of it is part of the reason what I was listening to is tied to brain science and where they're at with it. But so they're all connected to the brain, right?
Interesting. Yeah, because your senses and how that works.
I don't know why the nose isn't, but
yeah. Yeah, you don't really hear about people like losing their sense of smell other than
over
like
time.
An injury or something.
Right.
Because it regenerates.
It regenerates, so...
I don't know. I thought it was a really interesting fact that I learned. I was like,
that's kind of fascinating,
that's kind of cool.
And it does make sense. But the question is like, why haven't we evolved? Maybe it's because we weren't living long enough for that to be an evolutionary need. We were all dying at 40.
Sure.
So there was no point in evolving to have regenerative senses and brain and stuff because the average lifespan was like
35.
Half of what it is now. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it's interesting to think about how, and I do think we're going to have an interesting, the next couple of decades, there's going to be some weird debates about should we be living this long?
Are you going to have a chip in your brain? Because that's coming.
Do you want to live to be 150, even if you could? There's going to be certain people that say yes and certain people that say no.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's going to get so crazy.
It's going to get so crazy?
It's going to get
I mean, I would not want to live in any other decade than this. I'm so glad that I live here. If I look back in time, there's no time period where I would other than a visit, would want to live in.
Sure.
But it's going to be wild to see what happens. So, I don't know.
I'm good with my 80-ish years here.
Yeah, right?
I'm good with that.
I think I'm good with that too.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm
good.
The world's going to be so different.
It's going to be so different.
40 years
it's going to be so different.
Yeah.
My grandpa lived to 105. I'm like, bro, I don't need to live to 105. I just don't.
Well, and then everyone's got different belief systems, but my wife is very big on this is a place that you go, but you continue, and there are way better places to be than here. And so you don't need to be here forever. There are other dimensions, other planes of existence that are way easier to be existing in than this. And she has a belief that you choose to be here. You don't remember it, but you, for whatever reason, you choose to go here knowing that it's hard and shitty. And you learn a lot being here. And then, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's so cool to think about.
So, yeah, you don't get to choose the outcome of who you're, but you say this is if you really want to grow, this is where you grow on here. This is it's not easy, it's not supposed to be. And I remind myself of that sometimes because this isn't the beginning or the end. This is just a place. And we might as well figure some shit out while we're here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go somewhere else.
There's a video that I have. It's kind of the same message that I'll watch if I'm having a really bad day, but it's basically if I'm just this celestial being and I told you can go to this place called Earth and you can experience all the different emotions, sadness, pain, joy, everything. Would you go do it? I mean, it's like, oh fuck yeah, I want all of it. I don't want to just be stuck in like this happy paradise type thing. I want all of it. And so it's like, that's part of being human. And so maybe we all picked that. That's an interesting,
to pick the extremes so that we can appreciate maybe the quote unquote paradise that we were living in, or that we're going to live in, that's all just the joy part, where can I appreciate that to its max if I haven't lived this life on earth with how difficult it does end up being.
Can be for some people.
Well, I think for most people. What, you think that there's somebody walking on earth right now that hasn't faced the extreme difficult?
I think it's all like, the answer is no, because every person has their version of whatever challenge is.
100%.
Right? Like somebody who grew up super poor in the South Sudan and dealing with Al-Qaeda or whatever is going on in South Sudan is very different than Barack Obama, but like Barack Obama has some shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's his version
right.
of shit. And somebody else would be like, you can never complain ever. But he has been through some stuff. Everybody has. It doesn't care how wealthy you are, or like how famous. Right?
It's all relative.
Everyone's well. It's this. Okay, so this is the same thing that I personally feel when any parent tells me, "Well, you haven't experienced love to the level of love until you have had a kid." And I'm like, "Well, but I've experienced my." Like my wholeness of love, like I've experienced it to my max, and so I hear you that if that happened, I could extend that in some way, but I've also maxed it out too. So it's the same thing with the pain, right? If we're gonna compare people who are millionaires, billionaires, and don't have to worry about anything to people who are living paycheck to paycheck or homeless, whatever, it's like, okay, I can say the same argument. It's
absolutely.
Like our pain is relative, and our joy is relative, our love is relative. So I've had that happen multiple times when I've mentioned just like, kids are not for me and that's not my path. And be like, oh, but you just haven't experienced that kind of love. And I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, I think that it's more about them. It's easy to fall into the you haven't been in my shoes, and where what I've accomplished is like so much more heightened than what you've accomplished or whatever. But the reality is it's just not true. And that I think we are quick to other people if they choose a different path or the whatever. And it's like, it's the same thing of like, oh, you're Jewish. Well, if you knew Christ, you would understand the level of bliss I have for Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, is that actually true? Like, because like, again, the person who's that inspired by that upbringing and it's been amazing in their life, they only know that. And so like, it's more about trusting in your own path and committing to it and understanding that you're going to have all of the emotions regardless of whatever you choose to do. Like,
yeah.
You know, and I think that's why like people that like literally grow up in like dirt huts have bliss in ways that they'd be like, their bliss was somebody came to their town and built a well. And that was the best thing that ever happened to them in their entire life. And somebody else, like for me, would be like, that's so sad. And but not really, because that was their experience. That was like their thing. Like you can't compare them because you didn't live in their reality. And so stop trying to like make everybody like you. Like it's not what we're here to do anyway.
Yeah. Right.
It's a shame that you guys, since you don't have kids, you're going to get that for a long time. You know, and like, unfortunately, like that's just like a shitty part of our culture, but doesn't really mean anything, you know? There's so many people that either choose not to, or they really, or almost worse, they really, really want kids and they can't.
Yeah.
They can't have children. And so then it's like, great. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're just like God or whatever, like said, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just not so simple.
Can I open a risky door?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so because this is a debate, I guess, or a disagreement between Eric and I. So with in this scenario, okay, so yes, the culture of having a family and having kids and the pressures of that, and so the common questions and conversations, I'm very commonly asked, like, do you have kids? Are you having kids? It's a very common question. So just, you mentioned like anyone who might not be able to have kids or has had issues with that. And so I have been of the belief of, well, why are we asking about kids at all? Why are we asking someone we don't know versus allowing for the other person to mention their family if that is what they want to talk about? And I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about your own perspective in that, Eric, of...
You mean like, why do people presumptively like ask you, do you want to have kids? Or like, when are you having kids? Or whatever. I think some of it's just I have a feeling that we're starting to get more consciousness around this. I think that just we have been such a in America, like we grew up, like you get married, you have kids. That's what it's all about. And now there's just this awareness of some people can't have kids and some people just don't want to have kids. And then some people only want to have one kid. And then some people will be like, one kid, that's terrible. There's all these demonstrations of like, it's never good enough. You know, it's not about, then you got to have, you know, and then whatever. And then like, or like whatever, like 6 kids, you're destroying the planet. That's too many kids. Everyone has like a judgment on like, oh, 6 kids, you must be Mormon. It's like, okay, that's kind of rude also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's having a judgment about like the size of your family or like what you consider family, or like, oh, you have a bunch of pets and no kids. Well, you probably, you know, whatever. There's judgment on that or whatever, you know. And I just think hopefully we are starting to grow out of that level of consciousness.
I guess like my question's more about the sensitivity and even asking these questions to people that we might not know and might not know their situation in any capacity, right? And so, I mean...
my stance is like, it's not my job to be sensitive to you about whatever if you can't have kids or whatever. There just needs to be grace with it. If I say, hey, when are you having kids? If someone asks me that and I can't, burst into tears and get upset because it's a triggering thing,
right?
Like, that's not really on me for asking it. And I
get
the sensitivity part.
I think I do agree with that, because unfortunately, like, when you have a high sensitivity to someone saying the wrong thing, you are kind of putting yourself, like, to me, like, you're listening too much to like the victim in your head. That's like, oh, you know what I mean? And like, we all have it, you know what I mean? And so like, to give you a different example, my wife, everywhere we go, my wife will get cornered about like, so are your kids socialized enough?
Because they're home.
So triggering for her.
Wow.
Everywhere she goes, as soon as someone finds out she homeschools, she gets cornered and she's like, so are your kids like a little weird? You know, like, that's the way she hears it, you know? And she's like, fuck off with the socialization question. Like, stop asking me that. My kids are more social than your kids. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a big triggering moment for homeschool families, is we get sick and tired of people like being like, oh, the Griswolds, their kids must be batshit weird, you know? Because we've all been inculcated to believe that the only way you can be socialized is through public school. I think that's a little silly, but that's what we've all been inculcated, in the same way that we've been inculcated the only way to have supreme happiness is to have, you know, a bunch of kids. You would highly disagree with that from your life experience. Like, that's not like a hole that needs to be filled. And you're like, why does everyone think that that's, you know what I mean? So like, that's an example for like my perspective. Like, I get hit with like why does everyone think that my kids are like a ticking time bomb of like, I hope they're socialized. Like, it happens a lot. And so, but at the end of the day, I've been coaching Elizabeth of like, look, this question is going to continue to happen. We have to be gracious about it. It's because it's not about us. It's making them uncomfortable. This new paradigm. Oh, a family that didn't public school. Well, I put my kids through public school. Does that mean I'm a bad person because I didn't homeschool? Or, you know, it's
the
all
opposite. Or
so I think it's
just
like
a projection.
Asking people to filter themselves doesn't lead to a good place, I think. My personal perspective is like, it's better for someone to be able to walk up to somebody who has different pronouns than them and be like, I don't understand this. Can we have a conversation? or like, you know, or like accidentally misgender somebody and then not get completely eviscerated by, you know what I mean? Like basically, like if everything becomes the N-word, we have a big problem in the society where it's like you say the wrong thing, you know. I mean, it's a big example, but if we got to the point where like if I accidentally said, you know, when are you having kids? If our society made that the equivalent of saying the N-word and it accidentally or whatever, then we're in a situation where it's like, okay, like we have to have grace for each other on both directions. And I think if we build a society where there's all of these third rails, none of us are going to ever communicate ever again because it's going to be too scary.
Right.
Like,
we can't
terrifying,
say anything.
You know, especially someone like myself that's highly extroverted and puts my foot in my mouth all the time. I would, you know, I'd be constantly offending people, not on purpose, but like because for the most part, we have a society where you can put your foot in your mouth and learn from it. I do evolve. I've evolved with LGBT issues, for that example, because I have put my foot in my mouth and then had to like figure it out and like wasn't crucified in the street because I misgendered somebody or I asked a stupid question, you know, that hit that individual the wrong way. And I had to be like, okay, I get it now. I would ask it differently next time.
Right.
Well, I guess,
you know,
maybe that's the learning, right? It's understanding, having the awareness piece around this, the way that I might phrase this question right here. Okay, I've learned that specifically could be triggering. How do I potentially still maybe have the conversation and try asking it a different way the next time? And try having that same conversation in a completely different approach that potentially isn't triggering. I don't know. I have to trial and error. And then there's the grace part from the other person on the receiving end.
And I think some of it is having the patience to deliver that information at the right time. And I think sometimes we're too quick to be like, as soon as someone says something that's triggering, it's like, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to make you feel bad because you shouldn't have said that, versus letting it happen and then like having a conversation and then saying like, so one thing that you know, it's like there's, and then that person can then go, oh,
right, emotional response.
Of like, there's a time to educate and there's a time to just let it go, you know. And sometimes I think we are quick to be like, oh, your ignorance is showing. Let me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it becomes a gotcha moment.
Yeah, like, and we don't need, that's ego. That's ego coming up being like, I'm better than you. It's
and
like, no.
Maybe, I mean, I've certainly been put in that position where I'm like, oh, well now I might have had a position to actually learn something, but now I just think you're an asshole.
Right.
And I'm actually going to purposely have no awareness now because you've offended me.
Gloves are
off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And that's not what we want, you know? But yeah, I think, should we all help each other grow and not have the same awkward conversation over and over, like the bad Thanksgiving with Uncle Jim, who like never ever learns anything. Like we don't want that either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't want that either, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna have the same conversation with this friend that just always brings up the kids, and I'm just like, I'm kind of sick of having it. Can we grow in this relationship?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Inherently, I don't think that inherently, do you have kids is a bad question.
No,
I don't. And that's the thing, is like, I don't think it's a bad question. I just, more and more, especially the more that people are so honest about their struggles.
But, you know, I don't ask it anymore because I think I've had enough times where the response is a no, and it's like a emotionally charged no.
Yeah.
Like there's a sadness there where I'm just like, ugh, I didn't, you know. So I tend to not. I'll bring up that I have kids, and if they don't reciprocate,
right?
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, here's the thing.
Then that's the thing. You know,
most parents are probably pretty excited to talk about their kids.
Right.
So for you to bring up your kids, the natural response is for them to also bring up their kids, probably. So then it's just like, okay, cool. Now we both know that we have kids.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to talk about our kids without having to ask.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite ways to get someone to light up. Is if I know you have kids and I just go, oh, like, what are their names? Tell me about your
All
kids.
right.
You will get
Let
someone.
me tell you,
You will
everything.
get.
You know?
I will get someone to literally
Yeah.
like change the position that they're in and just start
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
how old are they? What are they doing in college?
Yeah.
What's the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, so I don't typically ask
Mhm.
it, but it was an interesting
Mhm.
debate that Christina and
It's
I
just
had.
more,
Like,
I guess, because
it's not my responsibility to
Yeah.
protect you from
Mhm.
the thing that you have going on, and there's
Yeah.
ways to either not have
Yeah.
that conversation or the
Mhm.
timing of it,
yeah.
how I say it. Right? It was like
Yeah.
if my response is, "John, do you have kids?" and you go, "No," and then my next question is, "Well, why?"
Right.
Like that's a different
Well,
thing.
And it also ignores the real fact that not everybody who had kids ended up being a great parent or ended up enjoying being a parent at all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, not everybody is like, best thing that's ever happened to me. I know, because I'm in dad's groups where like they're like, I can't wait to go on vacation. And I'm like, with your family? And they're like, no, like from my family.
Get
and I'm
away.
like,
Yeah.
that's from my perspective, like very sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a reality for some people. And
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, like there's a spectrum of all of this. And in some ways, that person maybe shouldn't have had kids, and maybe they were better off not doing that. And like once you do it, toothpaste is out of the tube. You know,
Right.
like,
There's no
you
going
know,
back.
but you know, and so I think like we all need to just let people be what they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like me having 3 kids doesn't have any like reflection on anybody else's amount or non-amount of kids.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fine,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it's just self-consciousness is really what it is. It's just like feeling like, oh, we're different, so now we need to talk about it.
Right. We need to be able to talk about it though.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing.
right. But yeah, it's interesting. It's weird. Like it's all gray. It's like we don't want to be so far to one side that like we're like playing a game of gotcha,
Yeah.
which can happen in certain circles. But we also don't want to be so obtuse that you're walking in the room and you're like, oh, nice tits. Did you get those done? You know what I mean? Like, there's that, you know what I mean? To be a crazy example,
Yeah.
you know, where you're like, why would you ever say that? You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
there are certain circles where that's the thing that people are doing. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, you know, and so it's just like, we got to find somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
where we're not being assholes to each other. Like, you know?
Yeah. I guess,
So-
yeah, maybe in like an orgy society, people who are constantly in those settings, or nude societies,
Mhm.
that's a question that's a reasonable ask.
And they might be really excited that you noticed.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, but it was just like one of those things, you know, like, and then there's so many things like that. Like I remember I dated a girl in high school where her grandma would come over and say, and in one more year, I'm going to get you that nose job. And it crushed her, you know, but that was grandma's what she did. She got nose jobs for all her granddaughters, you know, when they turned 18 and like,
Oh, wow.
you know, and it was like brutal, right? But that was the cult, you know, that was the thing, you know what I mean? That was like very socially acceptable within that family. And, you know, and it was sort of like, hey, you know, like you don't want to offend grandma. She means it out of love. So just, you know, I know it makes you uncomfortable, but you just can't say anything. You just got to say, thanks, grandma.
Which, I mean,
You know?
gosh, I mean,
You know.
like the deeply rooted reason why grandma is doing the thing, right? Where it's like how
Yeah.
she grew up, and
Yeah.
right, and now it's bled into, no, I'm actually helping my grandchildren, but it's oof.
It's
yeah,
like so dark. It's like, oh, we have
so
this
dark.
quote unquote bad family trait that runs through the family, and we're going to get surgery
Yeah.
to fix it. And it's like, yikes. Like, how? You know, but
There's
that's
so many versions of that though. It's just
There's-
this giant pendulum of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about it a lot, but just your dad did something for you that you loved. I'm gonna either do that or not do that for my kids.
Yep.
And then your kids take that and go, my dad did this and I hated it or I loved it.
Yeah.
And I'm never gonna treat anyone. It's such
Yeah.
it's just a nasty cycle
And it goes-
of
and it goes
of extremes.
around and around.
Yeah.
And it's like we all just kind of like, we all have these impacts on each other that are good or bad. And we do our best.
Everyone's doing their best.
You know, even grandma, you know,
Even-
she's doing her best.
Even come on,
Even
who's
grandma.
getting
It's very
her
problematic,
18-year-old
you know,
granddaughter.
She's doing the best she can, guys.
you know. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so This was fun to come back from. So it's like actually been a year, kind of one full circle moment, and we'll have more.
Full circle, it was fun, and I always like, we never know what we're going to talk about, and we just talk about stuff. And
shoot the shit.
And now it's going to be nose jobs and tits getting done.
You never know what you're going to get from me.
That was the end of the conversation.
I know, from where we started, and that's where we went. That's where we landed.
Well, okay. So to just put a reinforcement bow on this conversation, what's the big highlight moment, takeaway, topic, thing that we're walking away with?
I mean, gosh, I don't know. I feel very seen. Thank you. I just enjoyed the conversation, and it was fun to share with you how I'm doing in business, and just kind of get a little bit of a sense of kind of what's kind of going on with the two of you and your internal conversations. And it was good. So I enjoyed it. So it was fun.
How about for you?
I'm still processing. Do you have yours?
I think the thing that I've been enjoying a lot, and I said this at just the beginning, of getting an insight to this past year. So getting to hear that, so a year ago, it was, okay, I hit that 10-year mark and I hit this milestone that made a really significant feel in business and where I'm at. And then to hear that taking that, ratcheting up and taking it a step further and starting this year off and feeling really good and solid with the family dynamic and how that's operating and how that's in a really good place. And so just continuous the growth and just, well, honestly, like what we get to learn from you and in your journey and what you're doing with your career is great for us. It's inspiring, and it's another person in our circle that we get to look up to. So that part I really appreciate you sharing.
Yeah, well, thanks. And it'll be interesting. I mean, if we do this again in a year, I've just turned 40, and it'll be like kind of like the end of an end of a chapter and beginning of another one. And so I've been sort of feeling like, what do I need to accomplish between now and June when I hit 40? And so there's a lot.
Does 40 feel like a big milestone?
Yeah, it does. It definitely feels like very much like a transitionary year.
Yeah, my dad. I remember growing up, my dad told me, like, when I was late 20s, he's like, 30 was rough for me, and I was like, 30 was a breeze, but I think I think it's 40 is a different. It's gonna hit different.
30 was sort of like a bump, like, oh, all right, but 40 feels like, okay.
It's a halfway on most. on
like,
average.
All right. It's like a very take a pause. Like, are you happy with how things are? Yeah. Like, because you might be about halfway. You know. Yeah. So it's lots to think about for the rest of this, year or so. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I want to get to the place where we're not just talking about fuck you money.
Ooh, yes. Nice. Let's do that.
You actually have it. Yeah.
That's what I expect a year from now.
Yeah.
A year from now, we're all making fuck you money.
Dream big.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I like it.
Yeah. So go from telling your creditors fuck you to having fuck you money. You know, it's like that's the jump.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's all get there.
That part, just that conversation. I appreciate that conversation.
I love that.
Cool.
Amazing.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is great.
This was after we had cut the mics and we just hung out with John and kept talking for a while. And I was curious about being mindful with certain questions in society and things that might be triggering. And part of your point was that I'm not responsible for the other person being triggered in certain situations. So a couple of examples have come up since then that I just found to be super curious. One of them was someone on LinkedIn. They were highlighting a marketing tactic that they got, and it was a mailed letter, and whether it was printed or it was real wine, I don't know, but there was, quote, spilled wine all over the letter. And the letter was promoting some type of insurance company, like, we've got you covered. Something about the most expensive bottle of wine might not even be the wine, it's the Persian rug that the red wine gets spilled on or something. Clever. And then someone in the comments said, yeah, until, because it was like this ad is it's so smart. It's like, yeah, until this goes to somebody who's a recovering alcoholic, and now they've received something that's all about like wine or whatever. And I had the reaction that you had, or the point that you made of, well, that's not it's not their responsibility, I guess, to know if someone's a recovering alcoholic and send them, not, it's not like they sent them alcohol. They didn't send them a bottle of wine. They sent them a piece of paper that has potentially spilled wine on it, just to give the image of spilled wine.
Right.
So it gave me a different scenario with the same point that you have made of something else that maybe as a female I am more sensitive to, or I could have more triggers to. And yeah, it helped prove your point is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Say that. Yeah, I mean, part of like the trigger or activate. Someone said that one time. It was like, it seems like a healthier word, but however it's thought of is, if I'm the type of person that is gonna be triggered, I'm gonna get triggered. There's no, like, for me to sugarcoat things or kind of caretake or whatever to support them. Even if I'm trying to do the right thing, that person's still going to find something to get triggered about.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me to have this conversation, because I go back and forth in so many different scenarios that we've been in. I mean, we are recording in a comedy club, so comedy is something that pushes to the edge constantly. And there's so much of it that I find hilarious that many people find offensive or triggering, and many people get offended, whatever. And there have been moments where something has been said that I do feel is dangerous in a way, just because there's a acceptance of something if it's really playful and it's being joked at. So I have a hard time navigating it, I think. There's moments that I do have a hard time with. It's up to me if I'm triggered, if I'm activated, if I have any kind of reaction. There's certain things that I think it's necessary. I don't know. It's a really tough thing for me to. I go back and forth on.
Part of it is am I doing it on purpose? Am I intentionally trying to hurt the other person or make them activated or make them triggered? Right? If you told me yes to that, then I agree. Like, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I say something, I send you a letter that has wine on it and you're an alcoholic, the intention of that is not to make you slip into alcoholism and go drink.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if all it takes is a letter, like, there's some stuff going on, right? And people struggle with things, so it's right. I didn't invite that into my house, and what is this thing? And yeah, it is. It's a tough. There's not an absolute. It's not a don't ever ask the question, or don't always try to make it have a soft landing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was part of what we were talking with John, where the end of this conversation that we had with him was going into is, yeah, there's some sensitivities, and can I just be open to understanding that I might poke someone and they might bleed a little bit with some of the things that I say, and it can really hurt, and it can turn into a whole nother thing. If it's accidental, there needs to be grace, and can we talk through it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing if I say something and then you share with me like, hey, actually X, Y, and Z, that's how I had this experience. Doesn't sound like you know about it. And then if I do it again, that's a different thing, right? Now I'm just being ignorant versus that's how we learn. That was the big part of the conversation with John, is we have to be able to talk through some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this has come up when we've had this conversation around pronouns where if I don't know somebody and I get it wrong and they get upset before there's ever been any kind of course correction, well, how was I supposed to know? I can't, right? Like okay, I made the wrong assumption and I'm somebody that I have no problem, whatever you want to, who you want to be and what
I'll course correct with dog's pronouns at this point. I'm like, is it a he? I've been saying he. I did it. It happened last night. So, I've been saying he. It's she. She's literally like, he doesn't know she doesn't know her pronouns. So it's okay. It's not a big deal.
What a perfect answer. It's like she doesn't know she's a she or a he. She knows ducky.
Yeah, and so I mean, just the thing that was in my head before. There's part of the world we live in. If you look like a duck and walk around like a duck and sound like a duck, and if I call you a duck, maybe don't go up in arms about the signals that I'm getting about the thing that I said.
Yeah. I mean, that's one example. I mean, it's interesting because there's been certain things. Okay, so at least in the U.S., majority most people, I think, agree that we don't use the N-word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something, and that's something that was because it was something challenged in society, and now that's this like kind of, I don't know if it's universal because I don't know how other cultures are in other countries, but I guess there's things like that where change does happen, and because it has been made known that and I understand that even just like the root of that being so deep, like in harm, right? And to your point that you made earlier, if I'm doing it intentionally to harm.
Yeah, if there's malintent behind it.
And that's the root of it, so I could see where that. But okay, I just saw a comedian recently who joked about domestic abuse. That's not, and like that's something that's really harmful. I don't know. There's things that people will joke about or people will say, and some people are triggered, and some of them have deep, harmful roots, and yeah, that's why I clearly struggle.
At the end of the day, words are just sounds, and sounds we attribute meaning to it, but it's just a sound. Everything that comes with it is happening internally. I'm processing the sound. I'm processing the look, but it's all happening inside of me and my experience of whatever. And certain things set people off, but it's all internal. That's the part of like, it's not my responsibility to make sure that I don't say the wrong thing. Because then it's just we're tiptoeing. Like at the end of the day, there's just sounds that have meaning in culture and in society, and they've.
Yeah. Clearly, my brain it struggles with this whole topic.
To the best of any of our abilities, is just try to treat people the way they want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I'm not always gonna know how people want to be treated.
Right.
So then I can treat them the way that I would want to be treated until I learn how they want to be treated. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
I think that's solid.
Shake on it.
Put her there.
Put her there, bub.
Put her there, bub.